The Buffalo Bills force the fumble and recover victory from the Baltimore Ravens tonight in prime time, 41-40 in the season opener. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Pro Football Hall of Famer and former Buffalo Bill Andre Reed. You're listening to Nate and the Fellas on Circle the Wagons podcast. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Go Bills.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Hey, hey, let's go Buffalo. Hey, hey, let's go Buffalo. The Bills make me wanna.
What is up, Bills Mafia? Welcome to another episode of Circling the Wagons, a Buffalo fan base podcast. I'm your host, Nate, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you that are staying with us right after the Bills Sunday night football game, thanks for staying up with us. Appreciate you guys being here, listening, watching, streaming, whatever you're doing on any platform that's out there, all the social medias, all that fun stuff. Thank you guys for being there. I'm here with my co-host, Mike, and I don't even know what we just watched. It was a game on another level that I didn't see happening the way it did, and somehow it ended up going the Bills' favor, as things tend not to go to. It's a Bills fan that if you've lived through any length of time, if you're not in your early 20s, you've only known lots of different letdowns in games that are this close. But man, Mike, this feels good. Mike, dude, just any feelings, any emotions going on right now as the Bills just pulled one out of their backside somehow and beat the Ravens?
Hopefully it's a microcosm for the rest of the year, man. Like, it was cool to see people. It felt like Joey Bosa was buying in real time when that kick went through.
He wasn't so sure after he signed that $10 million contract or whatever. I
On
don't
Hard
know.
Knocks, and then throughout the night, I'm like,
Hard
you
Knocks.
could see him like
yeah.
just change. I felt like some people were like, "Oh, this is a must-win game for the Bills," and I don't. I think it's the hardest game on their schedule prior to the playoffs, right? Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I think absolutely Allen showed why he should be the MVP, because he does not have that go-to guy, the supporting cast. But it was hard for me to buy into, if they lose this game, be a doomer, because I think they can win every other game. And 16-1 is, I would take that any day of the week. But if finally the Bills are on the right side, this could be the game of the year. And it seems like when it comes down to the game of the years, we're always on the short end of the stick.
Yeah, it's particularly in the playoffs usually, but yeah, absolutely, game of the year, dude. It was so important. Not only was it important that the Bills won this game and ended up going, being 1-0, but
I
not only
disagree. Like, you think the sky is falling if they're 0-1 and the whole rest of the AFC East and the Chiefs lose? And I don't think so at all.
no.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm ecstatic that they won, and it shows grit and heart and Josh's never say die attitude. Like, I think we got exposed a little bit in the secondary, and but no huge surprise. But I don't think the Bills lose this game. Don't we feel we're gonna win the next 5?
Oh yeah, now for sure. I thought you're right. If the Bills go 0-1 again in this game, I don't think that the sky is falling. I think it's a really good Ravens team. I think it's a Ravens team with a chip on their shoulder after the
A
outing
Super
last
Bowl
year.
favorite, I think. Are them and the Bills.
Them and the Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like, the Super Bowl matchup, right? And
And I would, and to cope with that, I would say, oh, what happened last year? We lost in the regular season, and then we came to play in the playoffs, and the same thing will happen again this year. That's how I would cope.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is January. Whatever Chiefs fans tell themselves every year when they have to play us, they lose in the regular season to us, and then they have to play us in the playoffs. Like, well, congratulations on your regular season Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm not bitter about that. But yeah, so I agree. Like, I was willing to, okay, well, hey, it's not our day. They're exposing some things. Maybe that's good. That's good to happen early. It's good to sometimes, as a boxer, to get punched in the face early and, come back, as opposed to, not knowing what to do in the 7th round. But they they staggered. The Bills, they were on the ropes, and somehow, by a miracle, it felt like they punched that ball out of Derrick Henry's arms, a guy who had run all over them the entire game and looked like he was like, what, 22 again, even though he's 31. He had 169 yards rushing. He had 9.4 yards per carry. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Did you like, you can't help because the drought lasted so long. Like sometimes I do feel like you get back into the mindset of like after Hopkins had that touchdown, it started to get into the drought mindset of like, okay, if the Bills score here, then they get a stop, then they get another score, then they get a stop. They're right back in it. When they started talking about Derrick Henry, oh, this is the first time in his entire career that he has his first game ever with 3 30-yard games. And you're like,
Of course it is. This is the easiest game it's ever been for a season opener for the Ravens in history. Okay, all right. A team has never been up by 2 scores, this early into the second half. Like, all right, all right. Those aren't the stats, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. Or if the Bills, like back in the drought era, if the Bills were able to somehow claw their way back like they just did in this game, like they would have
definitely.
they would have scored a touchdown with like 28 seconds left.
Yes, dude, I maintain that my play of the game is going to be, was it Coleman getting tripped up? The best thing that could have ever possibly have happened. Like everyone's like, no. I'm like, yes, thank God. Yes.
We should give, when we do Wall of Fame, we should give it to Jair Alexander for him almost falling and then somehow a
so happy.
shoestring
Yeah.
tackle. You're right. Yeah, because it's like, they're like, well, there's only 28 seconds left. There's no way they're gonna. Yeah. Have you ever seen Derrick Henry run? He runs faster than most of our defensive backs.
He's twice as big.
Twice as big and twice as athletic as our backfield. Our defensive backfield. But yeah. Oh man, it feels good to laugh after being like, what the, for the entire game. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's
How are you doing? You feeling better? This must be a good
thing to get it.
Yeah, help it get out of your system.
No, it's still stuff. It's still in there, like
Mm.
it's still up in here, but like it's coming out, man. The joy is like starting to push that whatever sinus infection, whatever I got, COVID, I don't know what it is, just out.
I kept checking on you, like seeing it wasn't just magnanimous. Like I wanted to see if you wanted to watch the game, but I'm like,
Oh, really?
I need a solid 24 hours fever free. And I can't put that in your hands. Like
Oh,
I
I
got to make my own decision.
I didn't know
'Cause
why
I feel,
you
yeah.
were being so nice. I'm like, oh, Mike's never asked. I was like, my wife doesn't even ask me how I'm doing as often as Mike has been texting me the last 2 days. You're like, oh, I just yeah, fever free. So like, even if now I'll know in the future, even if I have been fever free for at least 24 hours, I'd be like, nah, I'm not feeling so great right now. I don't feel like driving anywhere. I'm good. Oh man. No, yeah.
No, I feel like,
Dude, real quick, like let's talk
yeah.
about like Matt Prater and the fact that like he came off the Tyler Bass was literally just placed on IR just a few days ago leading into the game, which is always a great sign for your team. Like, oh, this is the guy who's been in and out of practice, who's been, missing preseason games, our kicker, yeah, the guy that we extended, big contract. Let's start the season without him and let's bring someone from the practice squad, yesterday. And he did great. I mean, Matt Prater is definitely going to make my Wall of Fame at some point. Let's see what he was. 3 for 3 for field goals, long of 43, and 2 for 2 for extra points. And obviously had the most important game-winning field goal at the very end there. So shout out to Matt Prater, man.
Absolutely insane. Did you know he was just kicking it at high school? But that is a heck of a comeuppance, right? Just kicking on your own, like not even in a camp, not even competing, and then kick the game-winning field goal in prime time. Jeez,
dude, I feel old. Like when I watch all these like younger guys play, even though they're getting older. Oh, like, oh, so-and-so's 30. I'm like, wow, I'm still older than them. Like I can't believe how old he is still playing. Derrick Henry's 31. Not meanwhile I'm in my 40s, and like it. But then when you saw Matt Prater being
dude, you look
right next to
way better than Prater. He's had some hard year. He was like rode hard and put away wet. You look like Tom Cruise next to Matt Prater, dude.
Tom Cruise at 50 compared to definitely not in his 20s, but yeah, dude, he looked like he just got done mowing the lawn in his jeans and his white New Balance, those sneakers.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, that look on his face, the bags under his eyes, like, man, I can relate. He's just like, God damn it, I told the kids to move their stuff off the lawn.
Didn't
Gonna
he
run
look like
over.
he should? Yeah, it should be like in a cigarette commercial
Yeah.
back in the day. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
had that Jay Cutler look.
Jay Cutler, yes, thank you. Jay
Yeah.
Cutler / Kyle Orton look, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. Good callback, yeah. But yeah, so it was great to see that, dude, just in general. I mean, let's just go into our Wall of Fame and Wall of Shame just because like it was such a cool game. It's such a fun game to watch. We'll start with Wall of Fame just because it was exactly how this game went. Like, let's talk about the positive. I know there's some negatives that we're gonna get into, but let's start.
Bro,
It's
when I'm 65 and I have tinnitus, we're gonna look back and pinpoint it. You can't make it
too
like
loud.
you're like all the ads on TV. You're just watching the show and there's like
Constantly like be watching something and be like,
God.
what are they saying? Like turn it up. All the ads like progressive rigor. Jeez, down. Like I always overshoot it by like 12 notches. Like, come on, man.
They say that's like the worst thing too. Is it tinnitus or tinnitus? I don't even know how to pronounce it.
I didn't even hear what you just said because I just
What?
dude, I told my son to use that joke at when he was getting his was he getting his tonsils taken out and he was getting the ear tubes put in, the tubes putting it in his ear. And the anesthetician or whatever they call it, anesthesiologist, he's like, how are you hearing? And he's like, good. And I'm like, hey, I was like, not for nothing. The best joke you could ever do is when somebody asks how your hearing is, you're like, huh? What? Great joke. Needless to say, I thought that the pre-op questioning was done, and then the actual doctor, the surgeon that was going to do the procedure, comes in, and he's like, "How's your hearing going today?" And he's like, "Huh?" Like, oh, God, it didn't get a laugh at all, and I'm just like, "Oh man, what did I just teach him?" And my wife's like, "Can you not hear that? Did you hear what he just said?" And he looks at me like, "Dad, I thought this was supposed to kill." Like, rule number one: don't take comedy advice from your dad. But yeah, so tinnitus. Yeah, I'll find a way to turn down the volume on that clip. Expect the Wall of Shame and the Wall of Fame to be just as bad. So, or Sweet Sassy Molassie play the game. But Mike, Wall of Fame, Josh Allen, Matt Prater, who you putting on?
Offense side of the ball, it starts and ends with Allen, no doubt. Defense, Ed Oliver. We've been waiting for a game like that. Just he was the difference maker.
I'm so glad you brought up Ed Oliver because he was going to be top of mind, obviously, along with Josh Allen. And Keon Coleman had a hell of a game. Keon Coleman had 112 yards and 1 touchdown, 8 receptions on 11 targets. Just an incredible game from Keon Coleman. But obviously, Josh Allen starts, like you said, with the offense, 394 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 44 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. Just an incredible game from Josh Allen, especially against a really tough defense and a defense that plays Allen really well. But the defense definitely gave up a lot of chunks, either through the defensive line, the linebackers, the defensive backfield. I mean, Cole Bishop got ragdolled a few times, but Ed Oliver had, the sack, the tackle for loss early in the game, and then obviously the fumble, which, was the game changer for one of the game
I
changers.
mean, they needed a miracle, right? Like if you look at like the probability, it was Ravens 99% at some point, and the offense was doing their thing. Like they finally woke up, but you needed the miracle, and Ed Oliver came up with it.
Yeah, he did, exactly. And I'm glad you mentioned like we were looking for this game from Ed Oliver because last year he kind of fell under the radar, wasn't breaking out like he did the year before, and now you're looking at it as wow, like maybe he just needed one of those rookies next to him, a guy that, can actually or maybe even Joey Bosa next to him or something. Like Joey Bosa looked good tonight. I wasn't going to put him on the Wall of Fame, but maybe an honorable mention because, he got burned the first few times from, the Lamar Jackson option, the running back option, and the QB option, and then he ended up, learning really quickly after that. He adjusted, and even at 31 or whatever he is, I mean, he stopped Lamar Jackson in his tracks and didn't give up the big play. And so shout out to him. And yeah, that's about it on the Bills defense. At least the ones that stand out to me. Can I give, which I haven't done this in probably years, because their former special teams coach was so god awful. But the new special teams coach, Chris Tabor, I thought did a tremendous job with the special teams. I mean, if you want to give him any credit for Matt Prater and Brad Robbins, like them playing together for the first time, him holding kicks, Brad Robbins holding kicks for Matt Prater for the first time in a game. Both of those guys played really well. I thought the special teams coverage unit was pretty good, minus that one return. They were pretty good. I thought the return unit was pretty good. There was a lot to like out of the special teams, and I never usually give them credit. It's usually just some sort of criticism, but I liked the way that they played.
It seemed like they were coached up well, like with the rule changes, right? Like, and the kick's not just booming out the back of the end zone. Yeah, definitely. No glaring errors. Like I kind of expected to see something.
Like even though that one punt, it touched the Bills player before it touched the Ravens player. Like, I mean, he was right there for it. Like, I mean, it was a great, catch. It was a great. It was. We're just not used to seeing this sort of, like you said, like coaching up and just, I don't know, like they have these players in there, and it's like they always seem to spend money or assets or draft guys for special teams, and they never seem to work out. But maybe they just needed a freaking coach this whole time. So Wall of Fame mention to Chris Tabor. But yeah, John or Mike, you want to do
Bro,
stat all of you? I talked to John the last few, okay? So I don't want to make you feel like I don't know. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I don't have a good excuse for it. Let's
it's better to
see.
just own it, right? And be like,
Yeah, I'm an
whatever.
asshole. I'm a jerk. So stats of the game. Let's do those real
It
quick.
doesn't mean anything.
No, 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 not at all. You mean so much to me. So like I went into this game not thinking that the Bills would win just only because of well, the reason why they were losing 40-25 at one point. Like I thought that, the Ravens just had they're just always such a good team. The Bills had so many injuries that they were trying to overcome in a short period of time. Specifically like Tre'Davious White. I thought Lamar Jackson was gonna, just take apart Dorian Strong, and Derrick Henry was going to have a great day. He still did. So did Lamar Jackson. They all had good games, but um, I guess I just didn't see the way that the Bills were able to find a comeback, and I'm so glad I was wrong on that one because I'm not used to the Bills surprising me in such a way. So Lamar Jackson for the Ravens, 209 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry mentioned 18 carries, 169 yards, 9.4 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. The longest run was a 49-yard run. Lamar Jackson had 6 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown. Leading receiver for the Ravens was Zay Flowers, 7 receptions on 9 targets for 143 yards and 1 touchdown. Even DeAndre Hopkins had that great catch over our best cornerback, Christian Benford, for that touchdown in the end zone, the 29-yard touchdown, 35 yards receiving, and then 1 touchdown. And yeah, that's about it for the Ravens side of the ball. For the Bills side of the ball, Josh Allen, I mentioned 394 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. James Cook, 13 carries for 44 yards and 1 touchdown. Josh Allen had 2 rushing touchdowns. Keon Coleman mentioned 8 receptions on 11 targets, 112 yards, 1 touchdown. Had that huge play, like we mentioned, at the end of the game. Khalil Shakir, 6 receptions for 9 yards. Or I'm sorry, 6 receptions on 9 targets, 64 yards. Joshua Palmer. So I guess one of the things that I was happy about is that he came in through that clutch moment at the end of the game when the Bills were trying to score again. And just a great play, had separation, great catch that time. Key in that, even though I thought maybe he'd be a bigger part of the game plan for the Bills, still, I thought he had a really good game. James Cook, 5 receptions on 5 targets for 0 touchdowns. Kincaid, 4 receptions on 4 targets for 1 touchdown. Special honorable mention to Dalton Kincaid for coming back after that, and having a redemption game, to be honest. Yeah. Ed
Was it
Oliver.
It was Kincaid that got the right before the half, right? The pass on the left sideline.
Yeah, with less than a second left. And look
Excuse
how
me,
important,
sorry.
bless you, look how important
That
that
was
field goal
so
ended up being.
huge. it just like such a boost.
I love the fact that McDermott was aggressive enough, because we've seen McDermott in the past be like, oh, let's just go into the half with, that's fine. We don't want anyone to get injured. We don't want to, force, cause a turnover or something like that. I like that McDermott wasn't like that.
Absolutely. And and the
Dude,
Ravens rushed nobody, right? And Bills did exactly what they needed. And I was gonna say, I'm just not a fan of, like, there's 1 second left on the clock. Like, teams thinking if they run away, like, that will decide things. I don't
you
like
think
that
that's why they did that?
at the end of the game. I hate it at the end of the hat. Like, it just it is what it is.
Do you think
Yeah,
that's why they do that? You
I
think it's
wish they
literally just a power
yeah.
move?
Yeah, in the sense of, like, then people, like, if you anchor it, like, "Oh, the other team's already gone," it's hard for the ref to, like, back in the day, I think it would've, but now with all the tech,
It's,
you can see it much more clearly, yeah. I think
you're
back
like,
in the day,
yeah.
absolutely, it anchors like, "Oh, they're already gone, time must have expired."
You're like, well, it's
And
really
that's bad.
close right now. I'm not sure if but they're already gone, so let's just call it.
Definitely,
It would be so much more work just to bring them back onto the
definitely.
field. It's just like, I don't wanna write a ticket
Why
off
else
for
would they
just
do it? Why else would they do it? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
And I just yeah, I don't
I thought the Ravens were figuring, especially Lamar Jackson, he's just like, "Well, I'm not gonna be on the field no matter what, even if they
Oh, it
did
would have been
make it."
amazing if the defense did it, and the Bills like, well,
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah, touchdown. What was I gonna say? I think I gave all the honorable mentions. Oh, so let's go into our sweet, sassy, molassy plays of the game. Cover your ears, dude.
Sweet, sassy molassy. Get out the checkbook and pay Grandma for the rubdown.
All right. So sweet, sassy, molassy play of the game obviously has to go to Ed Oliver and the punch out against Derrick Henry. Guy had been ragdolling the team the entire game, just ended up coming out of nowhere. What a great play by Ed Oliver. Mike, would you
For
give
me, it's Coleman being tripped up because I with what we've been through, if the Bills score a touchdown and there's still what would there have been 30 seconds left
Yeah, yep.
and the Ravens get the ball back, they get a return. Yeah, man, and a field goal wins it. I don't want to. I can't. That'd take 5 years off my life.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Would a field goal have won it? Because it would have been 38-40. The Bills would have scored a touchdown, so it would have been 45-40. So no, the Ravens would
Oh,
have had to
okay,
score a touchdown, but
gotcha,
still,
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
they've done that several times tonight. So
I handed off to Henry 3 times, and you got a good chance.
oh yeah, or just do play action to Zay Flowers later, or
Right.
deep or whatever.
It
What
felt
about
like it felt to me throughout, like, I did believe the Bills with Josh, I don't think you're ever out when you have the time, but it felt farther away than the score might dictate, I guess, because it felt like the Ravens were dominating in certain positions, like,
oh yeah,
certainly with Henry, like, Lamar had some spectacular runs.
some
Zay
great passes too.
Flowers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
just beautiful.
It really felt like even when it was a one-score game, the Ravens were outplaying them for 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters,
3.5. Can I say this about Lamar Jackson? I don't know if this has ever been said or if it's said by everyone and I've just never heard it. Like, when he passes the ball, like, it is and I love Josh Allen, and he's the best quarterback I've ever seen in my lifetime. But when Lamar Jackson throws the ball, it is just like the prettiest spiral I've ever seen in my entire life for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's just perfect, like, touch, like, it's it's where it needs to be. For some reason, when he throws it, like, the guy's got a cannon, but every time he throws it in there, it's just like it's like a glove, like it just fits. I don't. It's even hard to explain it. For some reason, the guy, just when he throws the ball, is just there's something about it, man. It's almost like watching like Tiger Woods's golf swing in slow motion. It's just like I don't know. It's just you're watching something really cool. So yeah, amazing runner, like gifted passer. The way that the Bills ended up somehow finding a way to stop them and force, a turnover late. I have no idea how they did it because, like you said, it did not seem that close at all, to the point where, I'm writing like, what kind of meme am I going to post for, our social media pages about, we were talking about the Rock one, so like, I'm already thinking about that. I'm not thinking, oh, when the Bills win this game, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, how are we going to revel in the misery of this game? But, this is such a different Bills team than even the first few years of Josh Allen. So they're never out of it ever.
Man,
Uh,
that one. You remember the one Lamar run? Like it's starting to already blur because the emotion, the adrenaline dump. But Lamar, like, we almost sacked him 15 yards back. I think it was Bosa was in on it, and I don't know who else. So somebody else like had him
yeah,
around the feet, right? And he's
yeah,
back 20 yards or more, and it goes for like a 20-yard gain ultimately, but he ran for like 60.
yeah,
It was insane, and you felt
insane.
like it was like vintage Michael Vick paired with, man, I don't know, but at that point, like, jeez, you almost need a miracle to stop it. You need a
Dude, the fact that you would
insanely time turnover.
the fact that you compare Michael or Lamar Jackson to Michael Vick is high praise, because when you first got, like, what was it, Madden 2002 or something, and like that was the first team that you picked, like, for us to first play. Like, I picked the Falcons.
You just
No
run
one,
every time.
full well, you didn't have to do shit to pass the ball. You just had to run around, and then if you
Like,
felt like it, you could pass it. Like, you never had to.
all YouTube serves up is like Michael Vick highlights. That's why it's such highlight. It's such top of mind,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Remember in like the first games that we played, it was like game day or something like that before Madden, or right as Madden. No, Madden's been around for a long time. So like Madden, and this was going the game day. There's actually competition at one point for like,
Yeah.
not just Madden. And like with game day, like you literally just like drop back and you drop back 40 yards and you could still chuck it like 100 yards like from there. You never had to like sit in the pocket or whatever. You literally just kept dropping back, and no one could ever sack you unless you were super slow. Oh, that's great. But no one was slow. Every quarterback could drop back, even if it was like Drew Bledsoe. Like you could drop back like Michael Vick in the backfield. So just had to make sure you threw it before you got sacked or went out of the back of the end zone. But
Yeah, I remember that.
ah,
Randall Cunningham to Randy Moss.
yeah,
Unstoppable.
Dante Culpepper. You mean that's what it
What
was?
did I say?
Randall Cunningham.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep.
They might have played together for 1 year though, maybe at
No,
the
you're
very
right.
end. At the
100%.
the very end of Cunningham's. But yeah, that was your after the Michael Vick, after I figured out the Michael Vick, the way to be Michael Vick, you're like, oh, I'll just be the Vikings and just throw Hail Marys up to Randy Moss every single play and get it at least one out of two times. And then I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I should try to triple cover like Randy Moss, do one-on-one coverage, like, man coverage against Randy Moss, cover zero. Oh man. You taught me a lot about football coverages by kicking my butt like every time, like, you know. So thanks for that. Anyway, so you want to go? Let's go into
Let me
Wall of
ask you this.
Yes.
Sure.
No, no,
Dovetails. Wall
no,
of
no.
shame.
Ask me this.
No, I'll save it for the wall of shame.
Okay, all right. Cover your ears.
Shame, 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 shame.
So we're at the Wall of Shame. What was your point going to be that fits in the Wall of Shame? You stroke out? Are you all right?
I was trying to like in my head figure out like that
You were trying to
that
imagine her.
clip.
You're trying to.
Like which one is Bill's Mafia? Like I'm trying to figure out which one am I supposed to be? Which one is
You're the high
like
priest. You're the high priest watching this Bills player or whatever, or
oh, that's a
coach.
Bills
That's the
player.
wall.
Okay.
That's the wall of shame. That's going on the wall of shame. That they're saying shame, shame. So
But
I thought,
like the wall, like there's no connection to wall. It's just shame.
no, they're just the shame.
Okay.
Just a shame. You come up with a better sound clip, film
Hmm.
clip. I thought you were like, man, I was just trying to imagine her like actually nude because you didn't show any of it in the clip. Like, I was trying to remember what she
Like
looked
what?
like. Do you remember
Just
Game of Thrones? Kind of on that subject. That one like witch lady who was really really old, but like when she put on the necklace, she was super young and attractive. Do you remember her?
She's my favorite character.
Thank you. I was gonna say she was mine too because she'd go topless every episode or something like that, right? And I always try to like pretend like I didn't even notice when my wife and I were watching, and then I'd be like, and then at the last time I was like, I joked around, I'm like, yes, here she goes. Like we're in her bed chambers, right? Like you know what's gonna happen because it's happened every single episode this last season or two. Whenever you see her alone, and then or sometimes not even alone, it doesn't even matter. And then all of a sudden, that's the one where she took off the necklace and she ended up being like 98 years old right there. And my wife was like, "Ha!" Like that's I I deserve that one. Wall of shame.
Yeah. Did I tell you the Game of Thrones joke? Did we talk about that? Why did Jon Snow stand in line for 6 hours at the Apple Store? For the watch.
That's good. Not bad. It's a dad joke, man. Do you hear that one from your old man?
Wall of Shame is the going for 2.
I like the going for 2. Really?
Terrible. They could not. Their bread and butter was like chunk plays on the Ravens defense. They're just the Ravens like stop them on short every time. So I thought it was such a poor play. And they were even if they got it. Like what are you thinking there?
Are you thinking about the one?
And they ended up chasing it the whole game. Just because there was a penalty. It brought it from the 2-yard line to the 1-yard line, and then it looked like it was successful, but Coleman had been the first guy to run out of bounds.
Which apparently, like, by the way, I was seeing, because I don't know the NFL rules well enough, but people were saying that the NFL rules say that if they're pushed out of bounds by another player, which he was in this case by the defender, then once you establish that you're back in bounds, you can still touch the ball. It's not a penalty. It's only when you go off on your own, like if you're covering a kick or whatever, you're just trying to get around a defender, right? Like, because it's easier to go around out of bounds than just go through them. So that's what and so it should have counted. It should have counted based on that. But yeah, was that the one you were talking about, or was there another 2-point conversion in general?
Yeah, and then you had to do it because you were chasing from that point, and they were 0-3, and it seemed like every opportunity, like whether it was QB sneaks with Allen or run, like the Ravens stopped. It felt like every short one except Allen at the half-yard line, right?
Yeah. So that's one of my biggest, I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of my biggest knocks on this game, and the wall of shame, I feel like, is Joe Brady for a couple of different areas. The one that you brought up, short yardage. Short yardage, he has like 3 plays, right? Like you said, it's Josh Allen diving into the pile. It's James Cook diving into the pile.
Josh Allen diving left into the pile.
Yeah, sorry, three plays. Diving left, diving right, and then James Cook. Let's see if that works. And then the fourth one would be, let's drop back and see if anyone becomes open. Like just back and
just
hope.
Backpedaling.
Yeah, the game day 98 play, right? Like backpedal.
Yeah.
Someone just somehow ends up open and just runs out of nowhere to grab the ball, like pluck it out of the air, right? Like that's the one play.
Like the Ravens DBs almost did.
Yeah, exactly. They did on that one 2-point conversion. The Kyle Hamilton accepted it. There was
or like the first quarter when you were nervous when like the Bills receiver was just like standing there and the Ravens DB made a diving catch.
Yeah. You're like, somehow they missed everything.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They so those were my biggest knocks on Joe Brady's short yardage play. The one good play that he called short yardage wise was near the end zone when he had a naked bootleg out to the right. I thought that was a great play. Nobody had that.
That Allen scored on?
That Allen scored on, right? He just walked right in. And I'm like, where has this play been? Like, how about we design? I'm watching Jaden Daniels earlier in the game, and they had like a designed bootleg out to the right, like where the play was supposed to end up. And then he was going to either run or see who was open. Like, let's do that for Josh. Like, I don't understand why this is so difficult. Like, and this isn't just, I'm going to give it to Brady right now because he's the current OC, but every OC has failed Allen with like any sort of just like planned creativity, right? Like these wide receiver screen passes, like tight end screen passes, like to the, right out to the flat. It's like, stop doing it. They're covering it. They're ready for it. Like, do you think after the 10th time they're just going to be like, well, they're not going to do that again? Like, that would be insane for them to call that same play. Like, nope, they did that. So like, I hate being negative because they played so well, and I'm glad Mafia members podcast just brought this up. Like the screens to Cook for a half yard need to stop. The screens to Dawson Knox for a half yard. Like, it's just all the players. So maybe they'll work on other teams. I don't know, but the Bills have never really been able to successfully run a screen pass since I don't know, Thurman Thomas, like Kenny Davis. I don't even remember. It's been so long. But that's my biggest knock on Joe Brady. Mike, any thoughts on that or any other wall of shame?
No, we just got to figure out the short yardage stuff. When you
So
need a score, got to have more plays or go to or something.
yeah, I'm gonna give one more wall of shame. And again, this is a great game. I don't want to take anything away from it, but this could impact the season later on, so I want to bring it up. Like, so I'm gonna actually give an I guess it would be a dishonorable mention for the wall of shame to Brandon Bean. Now, this isn't, I don't think he's a bad GM. This isn't a knock on Brandon Bean as a GM, as I still think overall he's really good. But the areas that he has neglected this team, like, were very clear, and the Ravens completely exposed tonight. We were hoping that the Bills might draft or sign a good safety in the offseason. They didn't, and now we're kind of in a tough spot at safety. We're hoping that they would, sign or draft, like, a wide receiver potentially if one was available. They didn't, which is fine. That's fine. But they at some point they needed help. Not as big of an issue, but where I thought it was even a bigger issue was defensive tackle. Like when Derrick Henry's running all over you in the middle of the field and Brandon Bean just refuses to draft a run stuffing, like one technique defensive tackle, just like a 350-pound guy you just stick in there and then they have to run around. It's like, oh, well, we don't draft those guys. We draft the pass rushers because you can, like, turn those guys into run stuffers, but you can't necessarily turn the run stuffers into pass rushers. It's just like, well, how about we just get one of each? Let's do both. Like, let's do both. Like, I know it's easier to get those guys. Well, freaking get some later in the draft then if you can get those guys later, like they always say they can. Like, I love that TJ Sanders had a flash tonight. He showed up in the backfield like Lamar Jackson. Like, it is at Oliver, like you mentioned earlier, like, getting interior pressure is tremendous. It's something that we haven't seen in a while, to be honest. Like, it just doesn't flash that often. They had that a few times tonight, but where they lack that is the ability to stop the run up the middle. Jones is getting older. They don't really have a one technique. So the one technique defensive tackle, they just keep drafting three technique guys that rush the passer. Great, but it stinks when you're playing against Derrick Henry. Okay, or good running backs, right? Any good running back. So you keep drafting three defensive tackles, and you keep drafting and signing strong safeties. So we don't have a ball hawk in the a Micah Hyde in the back, the defensive backfield. We don't have one, and we continue to not have one, and that's okay. But like, teams that are good like this are gonna expose us. So luckily, there's not many teams that are as good as the Ravens. So I think with coaching over time, they can overcome these things. At least not overcome them, but lessen the negative impact that they'll have. But it's something to know.
Let me ask you something else, kind of to go back to what we were talking about with the short yardage. I did not see any of the Eagles game. Did you? But like do you think the Bills could explore more? Like the tush push was deemed so effective. They're talking about like outlawing it, and like Allen is big and strong as anybody. Is anything like that a possibility for this offense? Do you think? Like I just the ineptitude was very frustrating. Like I had zero confidence that they. And we saw it with the Chiefs game. Like we think Allen got the first down and it was a terrible spot last year, right?
Yeah.
But it's like the same thing over and over to me. I don't know.
I'm still not. So Joe Brady brings, like, for the offensive game plan, like the run game. The Bills never had a really good run game with Josh Allen. So he brought that to the Bills, which is a really good thing. I think the Bills are a much better team running the ball than they have ever been. Even though
Mhm.
they weren't tremendous tonight, but like just getting Josh Allen involved, James Cook, we saw the success that they've had, et cetera, right? So, but like you said, like I'm still not convinced on him with the passing game or just game planning in general. Like you said, the tush push, like if they did it 5 times against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, it worked twice, maybe, right? Like it's you're just knocking your head up against the wall. Like they're ready for it and they have the personnel to stop it. So it's time to shift, Don't just run it. Don't just run the play that that they know you're gonna do. Do something different. So I like Joe Brady. I think he's missing a lot of the creativity in his play calling. You see that too, right? Like, I mean, just that one play, like we just mentioned, the naked bootleg. No team has ever seen that. They're like, oh my God, like you guys are, where did that come from? We were expecting a half-yard screen pass to James Cook on the flat, or at least, a quarterback dive to the left, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so it's like the slightest thing makes such a difference. I guess I'm not sure why they don't do that more often or what's stopping them from doing that. So, and people will blame the wide receivers for not getting open or whatever, but I tell you what, Josh Allen gives those wide receivers enough time by him scrambling around the backfield. Someone's going to be open eventually. Like it literally is just a matter of time. So, anyway, what do you think of that? Do you agree with that? Is that kind of where you come out on Brady or at least the offensive game plan?
I can't disagree. For me, the glaring problem is those short yardage plays.
Like, why weren't they taking shots downfield earlier in the game? It was almost like they waited until they were down 2 scores. It's just like, wow, we really got to open it up. Well, it's like, yeah, well, no shit. Like, well,
Mhm.
now you have to, and now they're expecting it. So, you've lost all ability to surprise them with that game plan because you haven't been doing it. So,
Yeah.
anyway, great game, though. Tremendous win.
Oh, the best.
Tremendous.
The best team in the league.
I mean, they're totally gonna get through whatever these shortcomings are so small and
Oh,
insignificant. They're gonna be.
infinitesimal. We shouldn't even be talking about them.
I think we spent the last 12 minutes talking about how Joe Brady's the worst. No, this is a good feeling, Mike. Is this? I'm trying to think of a better game that like a game that's recent that we've won where like it just felt like this. Maybe would you even go like the Ravens Bills playoff game where they ended up winning it at the last second when Mark Andrews dropped the 2-point conversion? Is there another game that just comes to mind where you're just like, wow, like I can't believe they pulled it off. That was amazing.
That's the last one, I think.
The last one, right? Yeah. Because if you think about it, like now that the Bills are as good as they are, there's very few games you go into thinking like, this is going to be a really tough one. I don't know if they're going to win this one. Like the Chiefs, obviously, the Bengals, I mean, not even the Dolphins anymore. What are the Dolphins? Like the Bills. So the Bills did accomplish so many things by this win. They're not only are they 1-0, which is obviously great. They beat the Ravens, so they have the tiebreaker over them, which is to me the goal of the season is to get the number 1 seed because I think that leads to the Super Bowl the easiest. I think that's always been the case. I'm not breaking intellectual ground over there, but the Bills have never had the number 1 seed. I think that they have it's obviously a huge leg up over the Ravens. Now they have the tiebreaker. Everyone in the AFC East lost, and then the Chiefs lost this weekend. So this is an incredible. It's almost like the Bills are 2-0, to be honest. Like this is
To me, they're 3-0.
fucking 17-0. Yeah, yeah. No, it was. This is a great play. So I couldn't think of a game where this has happened where I felt like this. But even in that Ravens game in the playoffs, it felt with the weather and everything, it just felt different. It felt more like the Ravens lost that game than the Bills won the game. With this one, I felt like the Ravens lost the game, but the Bills forced the win. They didn't just get up and then just hold on to the lead by, playing it super safe. Like they had to make plays to win this game, and they forcefully won this game and they did what they had to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
as good as they've been over the last 5-6 years, it does seem that idea of like destiny, like within a game, like, hey, it's turning and it's going our way. We've got the momentum and there's nothing they can do. Like you could easily like it. We've been on the other side of that so much.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you're talking about we entered this game without our kicker, without our second cornerback, two of our second cornerbacks between Tre'Davious White and Maxwell Hairston, and we lost. We have two players on suspension. Like, there's a lot of things not going for the Bills. Khalil Shakir was banged up, but luckily he played tonight. Uh, like, there's a lot of things not going in our favor. So for the Bills to still pull this off is nothing short of really well earned by all the players. And some credit to the coaching staff for keeping them in that and not allowing them to just give up like the Dolphins did against the Colts, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, quick question. I know you love Tua so much, one of your favorite quarterbacks. What are your thoughts on Mike McDaniel? Because if Joe Brady ends up leaving this year for a head coaching job somewhere, which, as I mentioned, I'm not totally against or will be completely upset. Would you ever take Mike McDaniel as your offensive coordinator? You know
Sure.
it's going to be his first gig back, right?
I love it when people have something to prove. I love it when I can relate, people failing horribly,
People don't believe
wanting a
you.
second chance. They kick you when you're down.
They don't think that you can perform the way the
You'll
way
never
you
amount to
should. Never
anything.
amount to anything.
Wait, were you going in a different direction? I was going
Watching TV.
professionally.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those things.
It felt like you were taking it somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you just had me go into my childhood too. Oh man. No, it's I just brought that up. It's just something I was thinking about earlier. Like, he's clearly going to get fired at some point unless they turn it around. And those guys that were head coaches, but former offensive coordinators, and they get another chance as offensive coordinator. I think I'm going to spend this year kind of trying to look at like who's going to get fired, and like would they make a good offensive coordinator for the Bills. So you see, I mean, you saw that the Lions, like how important their two coordinators were. They're both gone. The Lions got trounced by the Packers. So having a good offensive coordinator could make the difference between the Bills, going to the divisional round or the AFC Championship game versus, making a deep run. So we'll see.
Yeah, no
Making the
doubt.
Super Bowl. So let's go to Twitter real quick before we end this one. It's pretty late, but want to make sure that I get Bills Mafia in when I can. I ask for hot takes after every game. So if you're not following us, please do at CTW Pod, like Circling the Wagons Pod. Any hot takes? Josh Allen's left arm says Wall of best win of the Josh Allen era. Wow, that is a hot take. I like it. Wall of Fame, the Ralph and Highmark. Wall of Shame, draft capital spent on defense. What, are you upset that we spend all our draft capital and free agency capital on the defense just to get lit up by 40 points by the Ravens, in the third quarter? Yeah, I can see that. I like that one. Like Bill Lasso says, the comeback needs to be our identity. A team that can take a punch and then get back up. Also, Keon Coleman is going to deliver. Yeah, I'm really excited about Keon Coleman this season. I don't know if you saw Mike on social media, but Deion Dawkins was talking in an interview on Good Morning Football, I think it might have been. And he was just raving about Keon Coleman. Now, when Deion Dawkins or other players are like, oh, I'm really excited about what he can bring. I think he shows a lot of promise, this and that. Like, that's standard, like, can response for like whatever, who cares? But when they say, like, you watch this kid, he's going to be special. What you see from last year to this year is a completely different player. And it wasn't bad last year, but he's just going to be that much better this year. Like, he went out of his way to sing Keon Coleman's praises. And so far, he's on track for almost 1,800 yards. So 1,900 yards, I think. So 1,900 yards, 19 touchdowns or 17 touchdowns. Andrew Freeman says, I believe that after the Eagles game 2 years ago, I wished that we would eventually win the game of the year game. Well, wish granted. Yeah. Isn't that crazy to think that the week one game, Mike, would be the game of the year? Like, this early?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Anakin Skywalker says, hot take, the Josh Allen back-to-back MVP campaign started tonight. When we got down 15, it was just time to finally get some stops and have 17 put his cape on. Josh got his Manning Monday Night Football comeback versus Tampa Bay moment. Never over. As Jesus once said on SNL, Matt Prater, I pray to you, brother. Have you ever seen that one, Mike? Yeah, I know you love SNL.
Mm-mm.
Matt Prater, I pray to you, brother. I feel like I saw feel like I saw that one. You know what that was? That was when Tim Tebow was on the Broncos and what was it? Jason Sudeikis was playing Jesus in the locker room, and he was going through Matt Prater. I pray to you, brother. That's awesome, awesome by Anakin Skywalker. Recalling that one, freaking awesome. That's it. That's my meme tonight. Thank you, Anakin. I'm gonna do that one tonight. Don't know. Big R says, don't know if it's hot, but McDermott deserves to be grounded or lose his allowance for the weird 2-point calls and not challenging the Allen slide. All things are possible through Josh Allen. All in caps. All things are possible through Josh Allen. Yeah, there's some terrible officiating tonight. Didn't get into it a ton, but yeah, the Allen slide was absolutely a first down. I was kind of taken aback that that wasn't. Michael Graham says, this team is different this year. We don't win those games. Josh proved he is the MVP. Keon has arrived, and people should keep their damn hands off the players. Josh, Patrick, mother bleeping Allen, go Bills! What a game, Mike. Did you see? We got to talk about that real quick. Did you see Lamar Jackson shove the player or shove the fan in the stands? That kid, teenager, college kid, whatever.
Not what I want to see it again.
So I don't have it pulled up. It'll take forever to do it. But what happened was DeAndre Hopkins, after that crazy catch in the end zone, he's celebrating, goes around to the side or the end zone, people in the stands. Someone kind of shoves him a little bit, and then Lamar Jackson comes around behind DeAndre Hopkins, and he gets a shove, a little bit more of a shove on the helmet. Like kid reaches over to do it. He went way out of his way. To me that's unacceptable. Like you shouldn't try to. I mean, you're upset. It wasn't even like Lamar Jackson was showboating. And even if he is, it doesn't give you the right to just grab the kid or grab the player or whatever you want to think you have the right to do. And Lamar Jackson shoved him and he threw him back into his seat, right? Nothing crazy. He'll probably get fined for it, but that's what Michael Graham's saying. He's like, fans should keep their hands off the players. And I agree 100%. And if you do, then you get whatever you have coming to you, right? That's just the way it is. Karen says Josh bleeping Allen. I love it. Chad Labrie, our guy Chad was in earlier in the chat. Down by 15. Who else would you rather have than freaking Josh Allen? Matt Prater with a walk off for the victory. Happy Victory Monday. Can't wait to be in Buffalo for week 3. Go Bills. Original Hatriot says Prater stays. Bass stays on IR forever. Oliver. But perhaps just as importantly, Bills fans in the stadium who left, you are bandwagon faithless twats. Jeez, dude. Half of you will say you actually stayed. Hope you all get lemon in your eye tomorrow. Go Bills. Jeez. Original Hatriot coming in. He's sticking to the name. He is a Hatriot, man. Hate. AJ Tharp says, hot take, I'm less nervous with Matt Prater kicking than I am Tyler Bass. Yeah, shout out to my fellow UCF alum. Very nice. The DE duo of Groot and Bosa has big potential. Shout out to Ed Oliver. Huge turnover when it mattered. And Keon Coleman for 100-plus yards, plus that crazy touchdown catch. Absolutely. 1-0, baby. Mike, John, Mike, we didn't even talk about that crazy Keon Coleman catch in the end zone. That should have been an honorable mention for Sweet Sassy Molassie Play the Game.
Yeah, definitely.
It's crazy. What a catch. At the time, you're just like, who cares? Like, okay, so now you're only down by 15 or whatever, like, whatever. And it ended up being super important. What a great play. He even walked off, didn't even celebrate. He's just like, whatever, man. Like, it is what it is. So, yeah, cool. Mike, it's been fun talking about you. It's been over an hour, and I know it's late, but wanting to let people talk or get to sleep. And anything else you want to hit on before we call this one?
No, got to appreciate though, man. That was an awesome game. We get those. What would you primetime game against the last 2 MVPs, right? And the 2 Super Bowl favorite, like one, and we actually come out on top and come from behind like that. That may never happen again in our lifetime. We'll win playoff games, hopefully Super Bowl, but geez, got to enjoy this one, man.
Absolutely. So that was for Mike. For me, Nate,
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Yep. Enjoy the win. Like Mike said, enjoy it. We don't know when it's going to happen again.
There will be wins, man. I just think I know you know this, we'll destroy the Jets compared to this. It's just, it hits different when you're down, you score 16 points in 4 minutes.
Oh yeah,
like that. Yeah, it was wild.
it's different. I wish I could take this feeling and just bottle it up. You know, this.
Tonight was the greatest night of your life.
Yeah, you're not far off. Oh man. All right, man. All right, thank you guys all for listening, for contributing, for tweeting, for being on the stream, the live stream. Had well over 3,000 people join in for this one. Thank you guys all for listening. So for me, Nate, go Bills, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Thank you for listening to the Circling the Wagons podcast. Download and subscribe to us in your favorite podcast service. Email us at ctwpod@gmail.com. That's Charlie Tango Whiskey Pod@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at CTWPod. And most importantly, go Bills!
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, Nate.
Well, listen, the whole show is called Circling the Wagons. Say no more. I love it.